So a very warm welcome and a very good afternoon to everybody, and welcome along to our Business Showcase interviews. My name's Ron Maycock. I'm the owner of Action Coach Castleford and Business Performance UK. And I'm delighted to be joined today by Becky Zimmerman. Very good afternoon, Becky.
Hello, nice to be here.
Great to have you with us. Becky's the founder and director of One Day Creative, and we're going to be hearing a lot more from Becky in just a few moments. Before we do that, though, I really wanted to explain what the purpose of these videos actually is. We're surrounded by some amazing businesses in our area. Each of these have got their own stories and their own journeys to actually share with us. And these interviews help us showcase their achievements and ultimately maximize their exposure, all in the name of abundance. And it's for the benefit of businesses across the whole of the UK. So without further ado, Becky, do you want to tell me a little bit more about One Day Creative?
Yeah, sure. So One Day is a creative education company, and we work nationally, bringing the curriculum to life in primary schools, delivering drama, dance and music workshops. We actually turn 10 years old in summer, which is really exciting. So we've been doing that for 10 years. And we basically provide quality educational experiences that make learning fun. More recently, we've developed an online platform as well, which I'm sure we'll go into in a little bit more depth, Ron.
Well, firstly, congratulations on the near anniversary. 10 years, it bucks a trend, and it's fantastic that you've made it through that, especially given what we've been through and how that affected things like education. So we will get into that. So you said it's for primary schools. So are you dealing directly with the schools, or are you dealing with the parents as supplementary educational techniques?
So 99% of what we do is dealing directly with head teachers and teachers within the primary schools, infant schools, junior schools themselves. Funny you should mention that. We do have a new project coming out for parents around online safety, but that again will be delivered through the schools. So mostly, yeah, we are dealing with schools. Occasionally, we do work with big cultural organisations, water companies that want to deliver messages within primary schools as well. And that can be done. So Birmingham 2022 last year was a big project for us, for example.
Oh, fantastic. And you said that it brings a curriculum to life. Any particular subjects that you're involved with, or is this generically across helping young people in their education?
So mostly the primary school curriculum, so everything from kind of geography, so earthquakes and volcanoes, to history, like the Great Fire of London and the ancient Greeks. A lot of what we do is keeping children healthy, happy and safe on the internet as well. That's something I'm hugely passionate about. So Online Safety Week in February, Anti-Bullying Week in November. They're also massive times for us when we work with probably about 20 primary schools per day across the country on each of those weeks. So for me, children are not all academic learners. They don't all confidently read and write or put their hand up in class. So through the performing arts, we can help children to believe in themselves, and we can help those children that are not academic learners, because we'll often find they'll thrive in our workshops. So yeah, we can bring the curriculum to life, everything from well-being right through to international culture and religious festivals.
Excellent. And I guess one of the knock-on sort of consequences of what you do is building confidence within young people, and off the back of that, then that helps them learn whatever the subject matter might be. So how do you actually deliver these? What's the model that you're using?
So with our in-school workshops, we will develop the relationship with the school, and we'll book in a workshop, and then from here we will assign one of our freelance facilitators to the job. So we have about 50 plus freelance drama and dance facilitators that work for us nationally. They'll go into school and they'll deliver the workshop. So it might be that they're working with one year 2 class for the full day on a Florence Nightingale workshop, or they'll go into the hall and they'll deliver online safety to 4 different classes. So we book in the workshop. Sometimes schools book in last minute, so they'll book in for a May workshop now. Sometimes they're booking a year in advance because they've loved online safety so much, they want to get it booked in for the following year quite quickly. So it's a huge scope.
Excellent. And clearly we're well, I'd like to say it was a distant memory, but we're now, you know, a good year or so outside of lockdown and COVID and pandemics. What was the effect of that for your business? But given that it was face-to-face workshops in schools,
Yeah.
How have you adapted? How did that affect you? And what's come out of that you've now adopted as a way forward?
So I have to say, in January 2020, I had my second little girl. So I was looking forward to a delightful maternity leave with lots of brunching and all the rest of it. And obviously 6 weeks later, we were in lockdown and school shut for the first time in living history. And I was like, what the heck are we going to do? How are we going to pivot the business? How are we going to keep on supporting our schools? So we basically had our freelance team create some free YouTube resources so that parents and carers could do it with their children at home. From here, I'd always really liked the idea of this online workshop library, so a bit like Netflix for teachers, and having an online library, which are basically online workshops. So with facilitators not allowed in schools, or parents not even allowed in schools when schools finally went back, this would allow, we basically started to create, transform our in-school workshops into engaging on-demand videos. So you could simply search for what you're looking for, a bit like Netflix. I'm looking for Titanic, something to do with Titanic. I can search it, it comes up, and you can simply press play, connect your device to a screen, no facilitator physically present in school. And it really revolutionized the way that we worked in schools, especially then in spring 2021, when schools went back in for one day and then went back into lockdown again. We had our busiest, spring term one so busy for us. And the fact that schools could basically use our online safety videos and share them directly with parents and children at home, it's just been fantastic. And obviously the online platform, now we've got that, we're constantly adding to it, we're constantly developing it. I feel like I've future-proofed my business. So if anything ever happened like that again, we have that to offer. So we've got our in-school workshops as one strand, and then we've got our subscription model on the other hand, which is the online library, which schools just sign up to either on an annual pass, or they'll do it on a half-term pass, depending on what they want to use.
Yeah. And in terms of your own involvement, then what's your main role day to day? Are you involved with the strategy, product development? Where does it start and where does it end?
So my main role has shifted somewhat since COVID. When we went into lockdown, we had about 8 employees within the business, and now there are just 3 of us, including myself. So my main role in the business in school holidays is, of course, strategy, but from day to day, I am really customer facing. I love people. I love working with our schools, developing new relationships, and going to events again, finally, seeing people face to face. So I love kind of developing those relationships and those business development opportunities as well within like bigger organizations. So yeah, and I've got 2 fantastic people that support me, Georgina, my operations director, and Jess, who now lives in Alnwick. If you'd have told me 3 years ago that would be real, I wouldn't believe you. But again, another COVID advantage is we know how well people can work from home. Our 2 marketing people are also freelance, and we've got a fantastic national creative lead called Clem, and he does all of our auditioning, all of our training for all of our freelance team, and basically making sure that they're the best that they can be for our schools.
So with the freelance team, roughly how many people are we talking across the UK?
So we've got I'd say 50 plus at the minute. Some of them, all of them, I would say, work in other jobs as well. And some of them have worked with us since we started 10 years ago. Some of them will come and work for 3 months and then they'll go off and do a big acting job, and then they'll come back and work with us. So yeah, 50 plus across the UK.
Excellent. And within the actual business then, or as an industry, what are the main challenges that you're facing at the moment, and how are you meeting those?
I'd say the main challenges that we're facing at the moment is budgets, obviously, and teacher strikes. Let's just put that out there. But I fully
Show
understand.
that we're recording this live.
Yeah, fully understand and appreciate that as well. But yeah, budgets at the minute, schools are having to heat their schools. They're big old places. If you go into a school hall, it's freezing in the middle of summer. So yeah, budgets are definitely something that we've been hearing a lot more about in the last few months. Also, I guess this is true for a lot of businesses, but getting to get the people that you speak to, sometimes they can't get to what they need because there is a dreaded gatekeeper, whoever that gatekeeper might be. Schools want to find out about what you've got to offer, but it's really hard getting to the right people because they are so well protected.
Yeah, often, and it's very challenging finding the person that is going to make that decision, and quite often within the primary school setup, it is going to be the head teacher, and potentially schools, sort of governors of the school, I guess, might be another way in. But yeah, the pretty much every decision sits with that one person,
They'll always go up to
which
the top. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't make it easy to leverage your time so that you can present to multiple people at any one period of time. So the actual online offering then, are you finding that that is, forgetting the face-to-face logistics, are you finding that there's an increase in demand for the online services based on a price point rather than it necessarily being a convenience and the only way that they can actually still deliver the curriculum?
Do you know what? When we first did this, I was terrified that I was going to kill one business model with another, and that everyone would go, actually, it's so much lower price per pupil to go with the online platform than it is for an in-school workshop. Actually, once all the COVID scariness went away, all schools wanted was face-to-face again. They just wanted that human interaction with a child, that rapport, and the rapport that our facilitator has with a child is, second to none. You can't get that through a screen. So I would say that people are engaging with it, but they're not engaging it necessarily because of the price point. They're engaging with it because they want more of an everyday classroom companion for schools. They'll still book us in to do a wow experience, if they really want to have an impact. So yeah, the online stuff's got a bit like this. So it's just, it's a journey still, and I'm still learning actually.
I think as a learning bank of information, then videos are fantastic. They're
Current,
yeah, they're very current, and they're very useful and effective for getting people to learn some specifics. However, that's not bringing it to life, and the bringing it to life bit will only be able to be done through a face-to-face facilitator. When you're talking about using the arts to bring it to life and to build that confidence, it's very, very difficult to get that transition through the media of video.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
doesn't quite connect in the same way, but very useful resource in terms of more structured learning, where it's less down to the individual personalities, I guess, that are going to shine in that kind of environment. So in terms of what's next, what's happening in your industry, and what, more importantly, within One Day Creative, what's next for you?
So it's kind of taken a couple of years where we've been doing really well as a business since COVID. We've had some real changes. As well as commercially, the online platform now looks after all of our admin for our in-school workshops. So we've basically been able to stay small but strong as a team. But finally, I'm kind of getting the urge, and I want to get the buy. I need to start pushing the business again now. We've settled in. I want to internationalize the online platform because I think that's really good opportunities for us to do that. So that's really exciting to me. And we're currently working with new writers and new artists to develop new programs in school on Uno, on everything from British Black history, Shang Dynasty. We're doing an online safety for parents video, which will be shared through the schools, where parents will collaboratively work with their children, quiz type, to learn new things. And then there will be some sections of that particular project where it will need to be without the children, because it will need to be a little bit more hard hitting. They're kind of our priorities at the moment. Just to, like I say, internationalizing the platform, getting into more multi-academy trusts. We're finding that so many of our schools, are turning into academies, and the trusts that we're working with are getting bigger and bigger. So kind of looking at those as a whole as well, and developing more projects.
Excellent. Well, it sounds very much exciting times. Do you see it moving out of the classrooms? Is there scope to do workshops in terms of forest schools and things like that? I mean, is there content that would transfer across through the platforms?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, absolutely. We have delivered workshops in museums and outdoor spaces before. That's normally on a bespoke basis. So yeah, there's no reason why it couldn't, it shouldn't have to stay in schools.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's using the environment because people learn. Someone recently turned around and said, it's our duty as parents to show the world to our children. And he went,
Absolutely, yeah.
however, that is a literal thing. He goes, you've got to take them till they can pay.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
we physically have to take them out there and get them to see the world. Otherwise, they won't see it. It's
Yeah,
as simple as. So
agreed.
excellent. So well, it sounds like things are moving in the right direction. That there's lots of different opportunities that have come from pretty much a tumultuous sort of couple of years, I guess. But as you say, you've come out of this a lot stronger. If there was one bit of advice that you could give to other businesses watching this, what would that be?
My one bit of advice would always be really mindful and careful of who you start a business with, and just ensure that if you start a business with someone else, that they have the same values as you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that is my biggest piece of advice to anyone thinking about starting a new business.
It sounds almost like there might be a backstory and a completely different interview associated with that answer, but we'll leave that one for now. But fantastic advice, and surround yourself with people who share that same motivation, same values, same core beliefs, and if you do that, you'll find a way.
And I'm so
Um,
incredibly lucky within my core team, that I've got that. So yeah, I feel blessed every day.
yeah,
Also,
no, fantastic.
feel blessed every day that we've got a great business, but money is a byproduct of it, because what we do in schools, what the children get out of it is just exceptional. It's amazing. So
Yeah, yeah. And as you say, if there's a solid model where it's monetized as well, that's great. And it means that you're working with a business with a purpose
yeah.
rather than just a numerical goal or a financial goal or something like that. And those always lead to businesses that have greater longevity. So it's a good way about it. So well, we've covered some great stuff there and really enjoyed that, Becky. And I suppose we're approaching the end of the interview, but are there any areas that we've not covered that you'd like to share with other people, or have we pretty much put the worlds to right in the last 15 minutes or so?
And no, I think I feel like we've covered everything. Yeah. I
That's
feel
the
like I've
main thing.
talked non-stop. Thanks for having me.
No, well, absolutely, it's been great having you along. And if, like Becky, you're wanting to share your business and your journey and make other people aware of what you're doing, then simply get in touch, and one of our team will get you booked in. You can record your own interview, and then what we can do is share that with a wider audience and make sure people are becoming increasingly aware. So just really remains for me to thank Becky again for joining us this afternoon. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hope you've enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
It's great to share your story, and thank everyone for watching another of our business showcase interviews. We'll see you soon, and keep smiling.